Welcome to the Mystery Podcast. I am your anonymous host, Mr. No Name. Today we will be continuing our discussion on spiritual journeys. As you grow and develop your gifts and you become increasingly wiser throughout this whole process, you are going to develop a disposition to want to help people. As you learn to be more confident in yourself. You learn to narrate your own existence. You're coming closer to a relationship with a high power. You're learning to forgive. All these things is going to provide you with a great sense of peace. And with this peace comes a sense of vulnerability. So as the hardness of the shell begins to crack and dispel around you, you're going to become a little bit more empathetic, and hurt souls are going to wander into your life and you are going to want to help them. It's as natural as rain falling down or the breeze blowing a leaf. And it's human, and we want to do these things. What is the purpose of spirituality or spiritual growth if it isn't for us to bring some semblance of light into the world and trying to put things back where they belong, because other people have put things out of place and left things disheveled, you know? Have you ever like gone to the gym and noticed that, like all the weights are like mismatched? The 20s and the 35s are over there by this bench, and you're just like, before you can even work out, you're like moving and putting the weights back. Just for a peace of mind, if anything. Hurt people, as you can probably tell by now, they're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. They're driving past you in traffic. They're your coworkers. If you're in school, they're in your classroom, you know, and you could feel it, Your empathy allows you to feel them. And when you're untrained and when you're immature with the way that you process your own spiritual gifts, you tend to mistake their feelings and their emotions for your own. Notice how comfortable you are when you're by yourself. Why is that? Why don't you feel all that anxiety when you're around people? Because you're just sitting in your own existence. You're just being surrounded by your own energy. You are not being bombarded by 20 people's freaking trauma, you know? You know when you're by yourself how to walk carefully, speak slowly, listen quickly, process even quicker. You know how to see and perceive with your eyes. You know that a sunrise or a sunset is beautiful. You know to recognize the moon and the stars and their position and alignment in the night sky. You know how to be attentive. Everybody else, not so much. So, as you develop, as you're growing, you're going to notice all these things about the world around you and about yourself. You're going to want to help people. And one of the things that you have to understand as you're helping people is people don't listen. They often project what they think, you know, is going on as opposed to just listening to what you're saying. When you've spent enough time with yourself, you know how to process your words and speak in a way where you're succinct, and you know exactly where this feeling or the emotion is coming from. Nobody has to placate and explain it to you. You've sat with these things long enough. You've considered other opinions long enough to know that these are, in fact, your truths. So, what do unhealed people typically do? Instead of maybe suggesting, they tell you what it is that you're feeling. That is how you can know and indicate exactly what is going on in that person's life. When you're saying something out loud and they're saying completely something different and just completely missing the mark from hearing and making you feel understood and heard, more than likely they're projecting something that's on their heart and on their mind, or maybe they would like for themselves. Try not to get offended, but do try to place your vulnerability and openness in a place where somebody that can actually listen to you and speak life to you and affirm you. Be at those places to communicate your vulnerability, or else you'll just feel out of sync. Now that you started to heal, you've learned more about yourself, you've starting to forgive, and you're doing all these wonderful, incredible things that a lot of people, to be honest, don't take the time to do. What you'll need to do next is begin the process of world building. The people that you help along the way may not be a part of your world at the end of this whole process. Okay, you're probably just somebody they're meeting along the way on their path to eventually awakening and then going down the path of healing. But you right now, and this is me projecting as well because I'm in the end phases of world building. I know who is going to be in my life moving forward, right? And it's kind of amazing because I know exactly who is for me now, you know. Even as I'm meeting new people, I'm meeting a bunch of new people, right? And out of the 20, 30 new people that I meet, I know exactly who's going to move on with me towards the next season because they exhibit the same traits of the people that I've already decided to, okay? So everything's going to change a lot once you decide, like, okay, I'm ready for a new life. I'm already changing my habits. Maybe for me this year was a process of celebration. So I was having a lot of fun doing the things that I've been abstaining from a long time. I genuinely live a life of moderation, but hey, I just decided to have a ball this year. But even now, it's coming to an end. I no longer find pleasure in those things, but that's what, just really giving myself everything that I want allows me to do is just to move on. I had exactly as much fun as I needed to without putting my life in jeopardy or putting my life in some kind of dangerous situation or fucking up my life in some way. But now I'm beginning the process of world building, and I'm differentiating people who are healed and who still needs healing. The only people that could be in my world now are people that's healed. And what do I mean when I say people that's in my world? People that are gonna share my hopes, my dreams, my love, my resources, and all these things. Where before, to use the metaphor of like the Christian church, right? I went and evangelized. I went and told everybody about the good news, right? But now I need to centralize and focus just on my church, right? And my church is very small. There's only a few people in my life that is really making helping other people the central theme of their life, and they're getting over any idea of pride, of ego. They're setting aside their own wishes and wants for themselves to the side in order to serve the greater good. They no longer care about anything that they want. The only thing they're focused on is serving other people. And they're allowing God to give them the yes and no, and are learning to be okay with the answer that God gives them. These are the commonality between the people that I associate with. I don't see how, if you believe that you're a healed person, I don't see how that can't be your general thesis for world building as well. You know what I'm saying? Like the genesis of the way you see everything, of your perspective, has to be with this sense of I'm going to use my life to make this world better, but I am also not doing it from an egoic place. I just wake up and I exist. I have a relationship with God or a higher power, and this spirit tells me when to go and where to go. And I am definitely learning to be okay with that, especially right now as I'm in the season of rest. I've never experienced a season where everything in my life like has some kind of resolution to it. I've never experienced a season of my life where every problem that I'm faced with, I can see and understand the solution, and I'm seeing the fruits of patience because I had to learn to be patient, and now God is asking me to be patient here as well. As I'm resting my body, I'm resting my mind, and I went from things moving extremely fast, and then all of a sudden it came to a complete stop. Everything completely shuts down, and I'm like, whoa, where's all this momentum going? Right? But as everything stopped, I'm learning to self-reflect once again because there was so much happening. There is a lot to process. So right now I'm sitting down, I'm chilling, I'm sitting, I'm just cooling off, right? And I have to trust that whenever God needs me again, he'll just open up the door and I go do what I do. But for right now, I need to just consolidate everything because there are still things that I want as far as like being perfected as a human being. Not that I'm actually trying to be obtain perfection. I'm always trying to get better though. But there are clear things that I want to get better at and have more self-control and discipline over. Because we've walked down a lot of issues, me and God. So I don't see why I can't continue to progress as a human being. But right now I'm in a season of rest, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty chill. And I love seeing other people thrive as I'm just kind of like hibernating as well. Especially the people that I love and care for and that I've, had interaction or I've affected their life in some way, even if it's in a small way, right? Because even the small interactions in the small ways that we can help people, we don't know what the ramifications are. We don't know the domino effect of us tipping over one thing over in their life, and how that cascades into just exponential growth along the way. Not to take credit for their growth, but being a part of that process, you know, makes you one with the process. And the oneness of seeing and understanding that helps you understand how we're all interconnected in that way. You know what I mean? Much like a tree in a park, how they all are somewhat attached at the roots and they talk through electric waves through the roots, you know? But anyways, I think this is a good place to clip it and call it. It's episode 5 of the Mystery Podcast. Once again, I'm your anonymous host, Mr. No Name, signing off. I love you all. Don't be dumb. All right.